Hey, it's Johara. Welcome back to my channel, too, TV Fanatic. So I'm going to talk about Neal and Emma from Once Upon a Time. They are my third favorite ship in the show. I know there's a lot of Emma and Hook lovers, but I'm not one of them. I cannot stand Hook. I don't even know why. The moment he came on screen, I hated him, and that never wavered. And I, to this day, do not even know why I hate him so much, but I do. And I definitely hate Emma and Hook. They're probably one of my least favorite couples on the show. And I'm very sad that they ended up together because I think Emma should have ended up with Neal. She was so much better with Neal. She was happier with Neal. She was more. I feel like with Hook, she kind of lost her edge that she had. But with Neal, she still had that edge. She was still this fighter. She became so boring after she was with Hook. And with Neal, and I swear Neal got the short end of the stick. I love him. He is one of my favorite characters as well. And my mom and I both agree. I mean, she doesn't hate Hook as much as I do. She's still not a fan of him, and but she does hate Emma with Hook. She prefers Emma with Neal too. So see, it's not just me. I'm not alone here. but Emma, uh, but I will swear to my dying breath that the only reason why the creators killed off Hook is because they killed off Neal is because they knew that if Neal was alive, Emma would have chosen Neal and not Hook. So Neal got the short end of the stick. Anyways, this is a top 10 list, so I'm going to do top 10 moments between Emma and Neal. Sadly, we don't have as many moments between them as I wish, but I'm going to count down the moments we do have with them. Um, Number 10, meeting again. So this is when they were reunited, when you first meet Neal. And they were trying to get Rumble's son because Emma had this whole deal with him. And so Emma ended up chasing him down, but he was in this hoodie, so she couldn't even see him until she finally tackled him and saw that it was Neal. And then she was like, "Oh my gosh!" And then finding out that he was Rumpelstiltskin's son, and all that was a mess. So they end up going to get a drink together where they talk, and and yeah. So and then she goes back and tells Rumple that she couldn't catch up to him. But then he comes and says that he only came to make sure that Emma doesn't get hurt for not doing her side of the deal, and then that's when he finds out that Henry's his and all that. Glorious. But yeah. Number 9 is Neal's death/funeral. Oh my gosh, this has to be, I don't know, because Neal and Robin's death is kind of so-and-so. I mean, Belle's death was really sad, but I feel like it could, but Belle is my favorite character. Her, Robin, and Neal's death were all so sad. Rumple's wasn't as much, considering he came back to life. Of course, he died again at the end, but yeah. Um, but Neal's death is definitely very sad. I cry every time. Um, and Emma and Rumple were there because Neal had risked his life to make sure Emma could remember and come back to Storybrooke and be reunited with her family. Um, and part of that was to bring Rumple back, but it was a sacrifice sort of thing. Bring one back to kill one, like life for a life kind of thing. So, so but Rumple didn't want to lose his son, so he kind of absorbed him, and now they were like two souls living in one body. Um, and But then Neal finally got out of Rumple and died, and it was such a sad scene. And he talked to his dad for a minute, but then he turned to Emma and he was like, "Go find Tallahassee." Tallahassee's a whole thing because I'll explain it later because that comes back up. But go find your Tallahassee, and it's heartbreaking, and it makes me cry. And they say how much they love each other, and then he, dies. It's sad. Number 8 is first meeting. So this scene is funny. Um, Emma was a thief, and so was Neal. So Emma was going to steal this car, and so she hijacked it, and she had started it, and it was driving when someone came up from the back seat, and it was Neal. And this one line always gets me. She's like, because he reveals that he also stole this car, so she was like, "I stole a stolen car," and I was like, I don't even know why that scene is so funny to me, but it is. I stole a stolen car. It always has me laughing. But uh and then they get pulled over, and then Neal talks to the cops and says how he's teaching his girlfriend how to drive a stick, and so they end up getting away with it without. So they didn't find out that it's a double stolen car. But yeah. Number 7. Yeah, that's what I'm on. Emma seeing Neal in the afterlife. This was so sweet. I was not expecting it, but I was so happy. Like, when I first saw that scene, I was squealing. I was like, yes! Neal's back! Even if it's for like only 5 minutes, I don't care. So when they went to the underwear to go to when they went to the underworld to go get Hook and save him because blah, but they decided to. Why? I will never understand. Hook should have died, not Neal. Neal should have. Never mind. I'm not gonna get into this rant right now because I could go into a full rant, and I already talked about it a little bit at the beginning of this video. So I'm not gonna go into my full 30-minute rant because I just simply don't want to film this video for 40 minutes. But anyways, Emma wakes up in the car because the car is important to her, and part of it, the reason why the car is so important to her is because of her memories with Neal. It was their car. There is how they met, and it's fitting that that's the last time she's gonna see him in the car. But she was so happy to see him. Told him she loved him and said that she was sorry that she didn't go to get. She said if she knew that you could go to the underworld to bring someone back, she would have done it for Neal. And then they could have been endgame. But he was like, I was never there because he moved. People in the underworld, only in the underworld, they have unfinished business, and then once they complete that unfinished business, they can move on. But if you never had unfinished business, then you just go straight to the moving on part. And he didn't have any unfinished business. I feel like he would have if he hadn't met Emma and Neal, or if he hadn't met Emma and Henry again, like got reunited with Emma and met Henry. I feel like he would have. But yeah. But he he never went to the underworld because he knew that Emma and Henry were safe, and Rumpel was safe, and everyone he loved was safe and happy. Stupid fly! I swear, this fly's getting on my nerves. Okay, but anyways, so it's sweet. And I was so happy to see him again. Like, even if it's for 5 minutes, I don't care. I miss Neal, and I was so happy to see him. And I feel like Neal should have been on like the rest of the series and should have been with Emma. And I will say that until the day I die. Number 6, yeah. I just want you to be happy, even if it isn't with me. This was such a sweet thing to say. I saw this post once, and it was like, it showed Neal saying that, and it was like, this is better than this. And then it showed Hook saying, if your hearts can still be broken, then it's still working, or something like that. And it was like, so true. That is so, like, I don't like Hook. So anything that I see that favors Neal over Hook, I like. But it shows what kind of person Neal is. Like, he truly loves Emma and he wants her to be happy, even if it isn't with him. He just wants her, and it's just so sweet. I feel like I don't understand how anyone could prefer Hook over Neal. Like, seriously, Neal was amazing. He's one of the best characters the show ever produced, and he's sweet and he cares. And yeah, he's made mistakes, but so has a lot of them. I mean, Hook was thinking a villain when he first met him, so who cares what Neal did? But to be fair, on Neal's part, he was doing what he thought was best. I'm still Team Neal. Um, So, number 5, the moment I saw him, I knew that I never stopped loving him. This was sweet too. I think she was talking to Snow and maybe David, but I'm pretty sure Snow was there. But, she was talking about when they first got reunited, when she was chasing him and all that. And I think they were in Neverland too when they said this. So this would have been after they they thought he died. And I can't remember if it was before or after they found out that he was alive. But yeah, um, I just I think that's so sweet because she's like, after all this time, it was neat, and especially since the whole Emma and Hook thing was starting to progress, it shows that in the end, it was Neal that she was in love with, and if Neal hadn't died, I swear to God, Emma would have chosen Neal. I like. There's not even There's not even like half of a percentage that I think Emma would ever choose Hook if Neal was alive. Like, seriously, this line alone proves that Emma would have chosen Neal. Like, the moment I saw him, I still. What was that quote again? The moment I saw him, I knew that I never stopped loving him. It's just such a sweet and simple line, but it shows how much she loves him. Just like the last line showed how much Neal loved her. I just, they should have been endgame, and in my mind, they are. I don't care what anyone says. In all of my fan fictions on Wattpad and everything, it's them together. I don't even think I include Hook in any of my fan fictions. That's how much I hate him. In my mind, he does not exist. There is no Hook in this life. I have issues. um, Number 4 is Tallahassee. So in a flashback episode, I think they Emma and Neal were in a hotel room and they were talking about where to go now because they were going to do this big. This would have been shortly after they broke up and was separated for many years. But they were uh, talking about this big heist that would have them like set for a long time. So they um so and then they couldn't decide where they wanted to start their new life. So Neal had spread out this map and had Emma close her eyes and point, and she ended up finger ended up touching Tallahassee. So that's what the whole Tallahassee thing means to them, because that's where their happiness was supposed to be, in Tallahassee. So when he later on, when he was dying, and he said, "Go find your Tallahassee," that meant go find your happiness in their language, and it's so cute. It's just such a sweet moment. And number 3, the gas station robbery and keychain. So in another flashback, we're showing Emma and Neal's life. Like I said, they were thieves, so they were to a gas station, and Emma went up to the cashier and started a conversation. She was pretending to be pregnant, while Neal was robbing, taking a few things, pocketing them, and then someone came in and saw, and then Emma noticed that he saw, so she pretended to go into labor, and then Neal helped her out, and then when they left, the guy was like, they were stealing stuff, right? And then they got to their car, and they were laughing about it, and then Neal held out this keychain. He got her for her. That keychain is special too. I forgot to mention during the Neal death and funeral part, because I end up not really talking about the funeral part, but she held on to that keychain. And when they met again for the first time, when they were reunited for the first time, um, uh, he asked why she still wore the keychain, and she like took it off, gave it to him. And she was like, uh, to remind myself never to trust anyone again. But yeah, so it was like significant for their relationship and stuff. But after the funeral, I don't remember them ever really talking about the keychain again, and it's really sad because it was important to her and to her relationship with Neal. Number two, oh my gosh, I absolutely love this scene. So there's this portal at okay, so number two, I need you, I love you. So there was this portal that Neal was falling through, but he was already injured, they they believed that if he fell through the portal, he wouldn't survive. Uh, he wouldn't survive the fall and the realm jumping and all that. And Emma was holding on for dear life, but Neal wanted her to let go because he didn't want her to get hurt. Um, so, but she didn't want to. She was trying to hold on. She was trying to pull him back, but she couldn't, and it was just her. So she was like, "I need you. I love you," and it was like the first time she said "I love you" to him since their breakup, and he said "I love you too," and then he let go of her and fell, and they believed he were dead. He was dead, and it's such a sweet moment. I absolutely love that moment between them. Like it shows you that Emma, after all this time, still loves him and still needs him, wants him in her life despite everything that they've been through. And it also proves for all those Hook lovers that she would have chosen Neal. So yeah. Um, the honorable mentions the Dreamcatcher. Neal ended up getting this Dreamcatcher for Emma that they had in their hotel room. Which, when you see his apartment later on, right before they get reunited, you see the Dreamcatcher in the back. So, he kept something to remind himself of Emma because he still loved her. Um, Talking on the swing. So after they're in the flashback, after their first meeting, they end up meeting up at the swings. This is when they start their relationship and all that. Um, I loved him too. I wanted to save him. He died a hero. That's when Emma went to the past by accident with Hook, and they talked to Rumple, and they were about to head back to the future, and Rumple wanted to know what happens, and she was like, because they were talking about Neal, and and so she was like, I loved him too. I wanted to save him. He died a hero, and it's sweet. Um, Talking and laughing about their villain exes, because they both had villain exes that tried to kill them, and they were just talking and laughing about it. Uh, um, Emma finding out Neal's alive when they were in Neverland, and then Neal meeting Henry. Number one, Emma rescuing Neal in Neverland. Um, so he was like captured, and he was in this cage, and there was like this bridge that there was like this uh huge hole, and I'm pretty sure it was never ending. All you saw was darkness in the hole. And then there's like, so it was like this big gap, and then Neal was on the other side of the cave, and they all had to tell their secrets to reveal, so some of the bridge would be magically created until they go there. So they all told secrets so that Emma could go over there and save Neal. And then when she got there, she kept trying to bang on the cage. Um, and she was like, that's not how this works. And so she had to admit an awful truth, which is that she is that she wished he had died, and she and it's not because she loves him, but she had been through so much heartache with their breakup, and then thinking he had died, and then found out he was alive. It was like too much for her, and he was like, I wish you had died so that I wouldn't feel this anymore, or something like that. And then the cage magically disappeared or opened, and he came out, and they hugged, and it was so sweet. I also saw the post, and it was like, this hug, showing their hug, meant more than this kiss, and it showed Emma and Neal's first kiss in Emma and Hook's first kiss in Neverland. I'm like, yes, so true. So meh. I'm sorry, I'm just a huge Neal lover and a Hook hater. So, but that scene is just so sweet, and then their hug was just so sweet. You could tell how much they love each other. Like I think they only have like two kisses that we actually see. I mean, obviously they would have had more if in their past when they were actually dating, but we only got like but we only saw like two of them, sadly. Um, and but it showed that their relationship was so much more and than just kissing. Their relationship was emotional and they loved each other very deeply. And yeah, so um, I absolutely ship them, and I feel like they are very underrated and deserve more love. I feel like Neal's very underrated and deserve more love. They're my favorite. They're favorite couple, and like I said, Neal's one of my all-time favorite characters. I say he's in the top three, honestly. Actually, he might be second. Yeah, I say he's second after Belle. But yeah, that's all for this channel. Please like and subscribe and comment your favorite Emma and Neal moment on Once Upon a Time, and we'll chat below in the comments. And I'll talk to you guys later.